What's going on, guys? I wanted to start doing some videos on the Pinwheel project that I'm working on with the light staff, so let's get right into it. So here the light staff has returned from Bonnaroo, and there's some updates that need to be done. Starting off with the lights here, I'm just running a ESP32 Speed Studio C3, and then I have a I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's essentially to make the lights dim. And then I have that running into the male connector here, and I'm powering up some 5-volt, 144, lights per meter or whatever. And I have two strips soldered together. So one issue before was like these lights would run at 100% the entire time off of two 18650 batteries, which basically die in like 15 minutes. So I'm gonna try to put this dimmer on there so that way we can control the lights, and then hopefully it will last for more than 15 minutes. The other thing I got to do is also put in this little capacitor here on these wires, so I'm going to go ahead and get that soldered up. All right, so I think it's ready to be tested, but I gotta charge them. So I'll just run through the wiring with you really quick. So I added the capacitor there. It's not permanent. It's just for test. Got the level shifter here. I have to add like this little 62 ohm resistor, but I don't know if that's the true right one. What I did is I went on Google and just found one with the same colors that was for it. So I'm not sure if I want to try to test it with it. I think I'm just going to test it without it first, see if that works. But I have my control wire. This is hooked up to a button. I got my buck converter here to go from the 5 volts to 3 volts for the ESP, and then back up to 5 for the lights. So I haven't touched the motor or anything at top yet. I'm just trying to get the lights dialed in first. So gotta wait for the batteries and I'll check back in. Figured this is prime time to show you the other part that will be in the other video, is fixing the motor and the pinwheel connection. So just to give you the whole example, I'm using a PVC pipe here with lights, and then at the top we got a little 5-volt motor, and that motor runs this pinwheel. The pinwheel is also 3D printed. It's got little LEDs on it. They're multicolor. And so the idea was that I designed, what did I design? So I designed this little shaft that connects to the pinwheel itself. I can show you in another video, but I basically made it so it can spin. And one of the hard parts was figuring out how to drive the electronics or wiring. So I'm using this really small slip ring here. So this actually gives me the ability to let the one side spin indefinitely while this other side, the wires don't move at all, you can see. So that's how I'm powering the lights and stuff on the pinwheel. Future goals for this is to put WLED controlled lights here, so then that way when it's spinning, it can run like the WLED lights too. But what I need to fix is basically trying to make this shaft again. So I printed this out in ABS 100%, and I even printed it on its side. So all the layers are running the long way, so it should be really strong. But you can see here, the shaft is very small. I even put a little screw there, grub screw, and tried to basically put a notch on the motor. So then that way, when you go through and screw it down really tight, it will spin it, and then this grub screw will keep the shaft tight on the motor shaft. So then that way it'll spin. And I really want it to spin like that, but I think the pinwheel itself is a little heavy. I gotta reprint it anyway because I don't need these batteries here. I was trying to use CR2032 batteries, but they're not strong enough. And I wanna replace the wiring so the button's not here, it's on the actual button for the light staff. So I have to try to figure out a way to make this a lot stronger so it doesn't rip within the first hour of use. So how it's normally looking from the side angle is, so basically it sits on there like that, and well, straight like that. So I was thinking of basically with the slip ring, it can spin forever So I'm thinking of making a bracket that is from here and then comes over to here and then holds the slip ring in place exactly where I want it at 90 degrees. So then that way I can just run the wires down the pole for the slip ring. And then the slip ring would be supported by a bracket that I'm talking about making, and all the weight will be off the shaft. So the shaft's job will only be to just turn the pinwheel, which should then take all that weight off the shaft, and so it shouldn't shear. Because when you're walking, think of it yourself at a festival and you're just walking like that. So all that weight on the pinwheel is constantly going up and down when you're dancing with it, because it's a really fun flow toy too, once it's really going. And so I have to design like that corner bracket, I think. The other thing I really wanted to try to do for the future, I don't think I'll be able to before my deadline, but is to potentially get a lathe version of the shaft, so it's essentially metal. Then that way it should be super duper strong, but I think that's going to be too much money and too short of a time frame. I have to get this done for the second or the first week in August, 8th through whatever, through like is when the festival is. So I have to have it done before then. So I think trying to go metal might be too much, but I think with the corner bracket, that'll really help. Trying to get like pinwheel more flat, so all the weight is more evenly distributed, would help. And I think just gluing down like these and stuff and just kind of this one up like really help. So that's kind of my idea with this. And then it looks really cool just on, or even like the lights on. The other idea I had was basically to replace this motor with like drone motor. So I also fly FPV, so I'm kind of used to those drone motors. I know they have a bigger shaft, which is nice. I'm looking for something that's brushless because I want it to spin in the wind too. So I did look at some other DC gear motors that have gears, and I don't like that it won't be able to spin without being powered on. So drone motor, I know would be overkill, obviously, but a couple reasons why I like it is because it's brushless, so it could spin with the wind, and it's really high powered. So we could do like a few different speed settings. So we could do like slow, medium, high, or medium, fast. And I think it would really look cool with like different patterns for the lights. But I think the 5-volt one might work too if I just get that like bracket thing done, and like the shaft I think will help. Then maybe just like the alignment on it so it's not like curved in help too, because this did work. I took it and had a lot of fun with it. I just needed to clean up the wiring on here too. Like I was trying to get the two things and I was crunching last time. I think with getting all that stuff straightened out, it'll look a lot better. But I'm gonna wait for the batteries to charge. But that's kind of the idea for this staff, is to have lights on like staff itself and the pinwheel, and it's motorized and free spinning, so all that cool stuff. But I will catch you guys back when it's ready. All right, so I think I had my wiring wrong, and I actually rewired it to use this level shifter because that's the one that I have, where this one was a little bit different. So, and the other guide I was looking at was different again. So I got 3 volts into the ESP, into the level shifter. I did add the little resistor. The other guide is saying to add like capacitors and stuff. I just don't have any of those small ones on hand. This is a bigger one that I have. So I think I'm just going to risk it at this point. Batteries are in, and turn it on. So let's see. And I might have to quit recording just to see if I can. Oh, we got lights. It worked. Amazing. All right, and here we go, guys. The lights are on. I had to actually get another phone to do this. But as you can see here, I'm going to play around with the brightness, and the lights go down. So that's like no brightness. And 78. And we go to like 20. That's super cool how we're able to control that now, because I never put that on originally. So You know, and again, can still do all like the same things like blue, green, yellow, and you know, now it even goes like super bright, which is really cool. Like that's 178. So like, you know, super duper bright. Or turn it all the way down. Like there's one. One is basically off. So super cool. I'm excited I was able to figure this out. I now just have to order a couple things on Amazon, like other capacitors that I got to put into it. And I think I'm going to build a second one of them. So I'm going to order some more components to be able to do that. So that's going to be it for this video. Next video, stay tuned. We're going to build that angled bracket and see if we can get all that working. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.